Hey, hi, Praveen.
Hi.
Good morning again. Well, today we have an exciting session for multiple reasons. Before I talk anything about it, first let's understand why is this discussion about? Because here Praveen has one amazing product which is going to change the dynamics of industry. For me to put it across, it's a very simple thing because today market has a great challenges. We talk a lot about MSME. We talk a lot of aspects stating that they are the backbone of India. We also speak that if they revive, then things will change. But for your information, more than 7.5 million, almost around 75 crore MSMEs are across India. And for your information, they contribute up to 24% of GDP as well. Unfortunately, 78% of such MSME are bleeding. They are in loss. They are either making break even or they are in loss for ages. They are trying to meet month on month expense and they're surviving. We know that since day one, we all have grew along with them. But unfortunately, they are stuck there. They are unable to help in any possible way. That is precisely why this session was very important for me, for the reason if such unorganized economy, such informal economy, if we can do something to them, it means we are actually contributing back to society because it is not about our support. It is our duty for them us to do it because we grew along with them. Let me ask a simple question. Have you ever missed newspaper? Have you ever missed a milk vendor dropping a milk packet at your doorstep? If not, think again. How is that they're doing it so cultivated way, and how is that they're trying to do it so exuberantly that we are not even missing a single day in an entire year? I can remember hardly once or twice they missing it. It means that's a level of perfection which an unorganized economy can do. And we call ourselves as educated, we call ourselves as much brilliant than the world. If that's the case, what is that we are doing? We still miss a lot of things. Our formal education system is failed in front of informal and unorganized segment. Having all that said, they are doing so much more right from morning until evening for us to close the day. In that case, what is that we are contributing back? When I was asking this question, we found this team. And here we have a representative of them. All three founders, along with it, Praveen is one of those co-founder who got something to contribute back to society, and it is making difference. But more than me conveying what it is and how they are doing it, let me have Praveen talk about it. Hello, Praveen.
Hey, thanks for the nice intro. Yeah, it's like very interesting.
Perfect. I'll be really happy about it because I heard a lot about your company. In fact, it is going viral across the market, and that is called as ToHands. But it's very
Yeah,
hard because I understand ToHands is this, but you guys have named it as a company and trying to do different. So could you give a brief about your company first?
sure. So at ToHands, we make smart calculators for SMBs in India, particularly shopkeepers and these unorganized stores, which are not able to do bookkeeping, due to which they lose, like they don't know how much money their shop is making because in the previous, like let's say 5 years or 10 years back, cash was the only mode of payment. Okay, so you start with certain amount in the morning, and then end of the day, you have certain amount in your cash galla, and you count that difference, and then you know how much money you made. But today, due to UPI, in UPI there are multiple apps like Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, and then you have like credit, then you have cards, then multiple. The payment is totally unorganized. Okay, so we are providing them a solution where they can record all the transaction in a single place, where and they can see how much money their shop is making, how much expense that they're doing, who the customer is, who the supplier vendor is, how much they are paying to a particular vendor, and they can do payment reconciliation completely using the smart calculator. And it's very easy to do operate basically. So it's like a normal calculator with two new buttons only, the cash in and cash out buttons. So we kept the layout very similar to old calculators. They're very they're very comfortable to use. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
So in fact, you're trying to say that it seems to be like absolutely this calculator which we always used all through our
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah.
you're trying to say that this is going to solve a problem?
We are seeing that we currently are live in the market, and we can see like how the customers are getting benefits of this product. Okay, we are seeing like on an average, a shopkeeper is recording more than 100 transaction on our calculator, okay, per day. And they are like, we can see how many reports that they are doing, like, so aggregately we are seeing that this product is helping them manage their finances way better than they are doing right now.
Awesome. Then, if that is the case, let me ask a question to you. What is the problem you are trying to solve? I understand that they were not maintaining their finance in an organized way because UPI payment is coming, cash is coming, and different sorts of payments are coming. You're trying to say that you're integrating and helping it. So if you can put it in a simple statement of what's the problem and how you can give a solution for it.
So in Hindi, this line is there, एक एक रुपए का हिसाब. Okay. So as a business, you keep a track of एक एक रुपए का हिसाब. Right now, the shopkeepers are not able to do. We help them do that. Okay. As a company, we help the shopkeepers keep track of एक एक रुपए का हिसाब कि पैसा where the money is coming, where the money is going. And in English, एक एक रुपए का हिसाब basically translate into keeping track of one rupees bookkeeping.
Every second away. Perfect. But if that's the case, see, there are a lot of companies such as Kata Books, which is also doing its job about trying to say that you have an app on your cell phone where they'll record all the transaction, and they already have a database of all the activities, the payments, the dues, everything is being maintained. Then how is that your company is trying to solve much better way?
Yeah, so Khata book is there for payment reconciliation. So let's say you give somebody credit, you want to reconcile that payment, you do use record the on Khata book. What we are focusing on is the bookkeeping, the cash in, cash out, the sales and expense part of things. Further, one of the interesting fact is shopkeepers are not very comfortable using their phone on the counter. Okay, they don't put the phone at the
Correct.
counter to record any transaction. So the way they use Khata book is they will first write on a paper and then end of the day they will upload on the Khata book app. We saw that calculators are something which is on the counter at the time of a sale or expense that they're doing. They're at the counter. We are trying to record at the point of calculation itself. So it removes like at least 3 to 7 steps from the process. So let's say you want to record a transaction on a Khata book app. Let me show you. You have to pick up the phone, unlock it, find the app, open the app, type the amount, select the customer, then type the amount and click save. It's a 7-step process. Imagine on an average, a shopkeeper has 70 to 200 transactions per day. A small shop has like 70, a bigger shop has 200 plus transactions. Imagine doing it 100 times a day. It becomes very tricky. Every time you have to pick up the phone, unlock it, type the amount, save the transaction, repeat. It's a 7-step process. With calculator, it's very simple. Okay, you just click the amount, let's say 500 rupees, just press cash in, it's recorded. Okay, so just
Oh,
two
wow.
steps and you're done. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, it remove like it reduces at least 45 to 50 minutes per day for the shopkeepers in terms of the
So you are
bookkeeping part.
trying to tell that, rather than using a simple regular calculator, if we replace ToHands as a calculator, the name of the product is ToHands. So if we place ToHands on the desk, and as and when we keep typing about the amount received, and if you click the button, it says that it's getting recorded, correct?
Yeah, it
Where is
does.
it getting recorded?
So there is a local memory card in the device which stores the data of up to 40 million transactions, okay, locally, and it syncs with our app once you connect it to Wi-Fi. Okay, you can connect it with any Wi-Fi. So mobile can be on a different Wi-Fi, phone, the calculator can be on a different Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi can be a mobile hotspot itself. Okay, as soon as you connect it to Wi-Fi, the data will start syncing to the app. Okay, in the app you can see the complete transaction analytics and download reports.
Oh, wow. So in that case, if they're using a simple calculator, all the transactions are getting recorded on their cell phone through Wi-Fi. In
Yeah.
that case, the record is always there. Now, what happens when they receive amount in the form of UPI?
So you let me show you. Okay, so you just press cash in. The amount, final amount is cash in once. Okay, it's a
Correct?
payment mode. Payment mode is cash. If
Received
you
in
press it
cash.
again, yeah, if you press it again, so let's say you press 500 rupees, it's an online payment. Okay, so I just press cash in again, so it shows as online payment type online. You can see it here, this side.
Okay, okay.
So it records like which is the payment mode made. Also, you can record the name, mobile number, order ID of the customer.
Okay, so in case if they want on a long run, they can anyway make a note in the book and they can use it. Or if not, every amount of cash, whatever they collect or online format of payment what they receive, everything will get recorded there.
Yeah.
Now, my
Yeah.
question to you is, do you really think that there was a big problem in the market where they didn't have a transaction, or by bringing in ToHands into the process, what is that which has been solved?
So we did not start with this project. Okay, so previously we used to build an app called Buy Buy Seller app, which has like around 7,000 users right now. My job was to go to shop and onboard them on our platform, the app. One of the interesting thing that we saw at the shop is what the shopkeeper was doing. They will use a calculator like a normal Casio or a Citizen, any made in China calculator, to calculate the final amount. Let's say you buy something 500 rupees item you buy from me. I will calculate the total amount and ask you to pay that amount. Okay, once you that pay the amount, they will write, okay, on a paper. And end of the day, they will again calculate whatever they have written on the paper. Okay, So our idea was very simple. Ki why can't you record the data inside the calculator itself? That was the initial point. Okay. So we started with that. We built a POC, proof of concept, a small like box thing. We showed it to them, and we got 7 pre-order on it. Then we built this. This was like our version 2. I
Okay.
hope you can see. So this
Yes,
is like
yes, yes.
with credit and debit button, which used to work. Okay. Uh, we saw that these people are using it when this device is not very good. Okay, this was not totally not like very user friendly. This was like very hard to use, but people are using it. The 7 customers that we had. Then we were like, "Ki, bro, we have to do something like on a scale." So we received funding on version 2, and then we went for version 3, which is like now large scale production and everything. So for us, it was not like there are two ways of looking at a problem. Like you start with top down, like is this a big problem or not? We are bottom up. Okay, so we are seeing like for us, it's not about like we know like in India there are 30 million shops, out of which 91% of them do not have a billing machine. So 27 million shops do not have a billing machine. Out of which 27 million shops, we have to sell to 5 million shops. Okay, we don't want to sell to 27 million shops initially. Okay, we know that there are shops and we can sell the calculators too. So pretty simple. Like it's a bottom up approach, not a top down approach for us. And we are
Awesome.
just
In that way, they're able to record the transaction. They're able to see what is the sales at the end of the day. What
yeah.
was that product? I mean, are you distinguishing again on the product or category basis?
We do not do inventory by
Okay.
choice. Okay. The reason we did not do inventory because inventory makes it very complicated, and in India, people sell a lot of loose items. So like sugar, pulses. These items are loose. Okay, and bookkeeping is very complicated. So we did not want to do that. We choose not to do that.
So in
I,
that basis, then they'll be able to calculate on daily basis cash. They'll be able to compare which week they had a good sales, which month they were able to progress it, to what extent they received in cash and what was online format. So we'll be able to resolve that issue because most of them, the finance itself is a challenge. Let me understand about you, as a person, Praveen. How is that your team is formed and who are the co-founders or associated with it as such?
Yeah, so we are three co-founders. I take care of the product and business side of things. I have Shanmugh Vadival from Dindigul, Tamil Nadu. He takes care of the hardware side of things. So he's the person who ensures the quality of the product is good and everything. Then we have Satyam, who's from Kanpur, UP. He takes care of the software side of things, the app, the complete like, integrations, the firmware, and everything. So we pretty basically our team is like pretty wide. So we have person working from us like from Gujarat who takes care of the firmware development. Then we have industrial designer in Punjab. We manufacture in Tamil Nadu. Then we do assembly in Bangalore, and like companies from Maharashtra basically. So yeah, this is pretty interesting team.
So you're trying to globalize within India.
Not globalized. Basically, India is like a big like continent kind of thing. So we're just using the best resources that we can get. For us, that's the most important
So
part.
make in India in the real form.
Yeah, we're trying that.
Awesome. How did you guys meet each other?
So this is pretty interesting story. Uh, we, me and Satyam, like we met through a mutual friend. Uh, but Shanmugh, we hired him to make the version 2. So once we got the 7 pre-orders, so we hired him to make this part, this device. He was the person who made it from scratch, the version 2. Single person. He did like the PCB design to PCB fabrication to 3D printing, everything. Okay. And then we convinced him to join the team full time as a co-founder. So he left his own company, previous company, and then he joined us like as a full co-founder. So that's the best part about it. Yeah.
Very nice. But now that you're already into this industry, let me ask this question because today Generation Z, millennials, they always want to get into entrepreneurship, and in fact, it has come like a taboo that you should be in entrepreneurship. If not, there's nothing cool about it. So if that's the case, how do you choose a co-founder then?
I don't think you choose a co-founder. I think you find them, and basically, uh, saying co-founder is a relationship is like very like generic statement. I will you just need to find the right people, compromise, make compromises. Okay, lot of compromises. You can't be like you can't find a perfect person. Okay, you need to find the person who gets things done. So for us, the main criteria is just like you get the thing done. I don't care about what is your background. I did never ask my co-founders like where they studied and everything. Okay, they're like you get the thing done. I am okay with it. Okay, and second thing is trust. So trust is something which is very important in terms of when you're working with somebody as a co-founder because it's not about the product. Okay, so like as a company, whenever you're getting investment, the people will invest in your team. They will not invest in the product. Today we are building smart calculator. Tomorrow we might do doing something different. Okay, uh, so for us, the trust part, like you trust in like building something together for long term, that was the major part, and we figured it out like as a team. So we are very sorted in terms of getting things done. We can like literally make a hardware and software, and we can build any product scratch up uh, very fast. So we can do it within like uh, today we did a POC, which is like very crazy thing that we did on us like within 2 days from scratch. So we, as a team, we have that capability to do full of things.
Awesome. How old are you, Praveen?
I'm 22 legally.
Oh, wow. So I think your team is also almost the same, or
No, no, people are older than me. All of the co-founders are older than me. They're 29 and 26, 27.
oh, so still you are in the millennial segment for them to address it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
they do say that. Like they're like, "Ki, if you want to work with Praveen, you can't stop building features." And I was like, "Bhai, you have to make sales and you have to tell like I can't sell things without features. No, I have to make things." So that is it.
So let me go a step backward then. Where did this thought of entrepreneurship come to you then?
So okay, my native is in UP. Okay, it's in town called Pratapgarh. I come from a proper village. Uh, for me, I remember this part. Like I used to run an NGO previous before building this company. It's still running. It's called Power of Youth. Now it's called Studygar. Our job was to teach rural kids, like make them more aware and kind of thing. We had like 40 students plus. We used to conduct a lot of like village talent exams. We had like 152 students take the exam. So my job was I used to convince people to give that exam, and they had to pay 19 rupees to participate in that exam, and I loved it. Okay. Further, I got my I convinced my shopkeeper in my village to carry this recharge coupons. In that time they used to have recharge coupon, and I because if we had to buy a recharge coupon, we have to go 2 kilometers on cycle. I convinced him to keep the recharge coupon at their shop and charge us 1 rupees extra. So like uh and we used to organize cricket tournaments. So for me it's like uh building something that is what gives me true happiness. Like I know what I want to do. Like for me there are three segments, like three target area. So first one is entrepreneurship. I want to build something of my own, and I want to help other people with entrepreneurship. Second is education sector. I am very interested in like and actively work with education sector. We have a like, non-profit going on. We do multiple things. Third one is like environment. I'm not doing anything in environment right now, but these are the three segment target area that I personally focus on. Okay. Other than these three, I don't have any like interest area of interest or such. So for me, it's like
Wow.
it's about building things, like just that excitement now, like unparalleled now. Also,
Awesome.
uh, one of the major factor that influenced it was APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, uh, so he's my mentor. I can like literally I keep this picture of him. I read this book called आपका भविष्य आपके हाथ में. It's in Hindi translation of I don't know the exact name of the book. This was my first book that I read in class 9th or 10th. From there I started reading books, and this spiral continued. So he was like I remember the line. He was like, for today's youth it's about job creator, not job seeker. So that was like, yeah, bana,
So it
like
all,
you have to,
started with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
huh, he was a like he is still a major influence in my life, like my ideal kind of thing.
In fact, I was about to ask you who's that inspiration who's bringing all those things into Praveen.
Yeah. Again,
You're conveying about it. I just remember one of my, friend who happens to be at the age of 20, who's called Dhruv Surana. He's again one of those kind of what you're talking. Pretty excited at the age 20. He want to be an entrepreneur. He kickstarted one and is performing really well. So I think I'm able to get connected with what you're trying to tell. Awesome, Praveen. So let me continue with. So now that you had that thought, you were always into building. You started with your company earlier, which you were telling that for 7,000 subscribers were also there, and then came into ToHands. What was that company which you were talking about? Those 7,000 subscribers.
it's called Buy by Seller app, BYBUY. We used to enable shopkeepers to sell things online in their nearby area. So let's say you want to create a e-commerce website, we used to automate the whole process for you. It's very easy for the shop, like let's say Kirana stores and all, to create a shop online and then sell through their WhatsApp or local community. We had
So
like
you again founded that company, or you were working there?
That's the same company. We started with that product and then we pivoted to this product.
Okay. So where did that idea come from?
So I was in Mumbai for my college, and my job basically I used to sell stuff in college, like sell posters, books, and kind of stuff. So, uh, like my uncle wrote a book it's called Practical Guide to GST, and he asked me to sell that book on Amazon. I tried to list it. I learned everything about how to sell things on Amazon, but I was not able to list the book because the book didn't have the ISBN number. It's a unique code in
Okay.
the back of the book. It's a locally published book. So I was like, if I can't sell something on Amazon and Flipkart, then how can a small shopkeeper sell? Okay.
So
So that's where we came up with the idea like building a YouTube for e-commerce, where it's very easy for somebody to create a like e-commerce store and then sell and connect with the customers. We built it. We got a grant from Emergent Venture in US. They gave us like $4,000 kind of thing. We used that amount to build the buy seller, the complete platform. Then we got good traction on it. We were like operationally profitable on that product. But the problem was like again in India, if you look at the churn, like let's say 7,000 users are joining your platform and how many people are staying on it, like, and how many people are actually making money in long term, that is pretty low in the like dukan segment, basically it's dukan tech segment. It's pretty low. So like it's a good product, but we are not able to scale it up. So we're like we have to pivot, and then we came up with two ends, this calculator thing. Further, actually till 2022 we did not focus on the calculator. We had the idea, but we were like focusing on the seller app. uh, but in 2022 we completely changed the company and like focused on a particular product.
awesome. I in between you were talking something about we are already funded as well.
Yeah, we are
To
funded.
what level are you funded?
Our pre-seed round is done basically. T Hub is an incubator in Hyderabad. They invested like around 50, total amount is 50 lakh rupees, out of which 30 lakh is T Hub via Startup India seed fund, and then 20 lakh is from other angel investors.
Okay. So pre-seed funding is already done. So are you
Yeah,
further looking for funding, or is it the end of the story as of now?
we are doing the seed round right now.
So you're open already for the seed round.
We have commitments for the seed round also, like from multiple and top VCs in India.
Okay. So where is that you're about to utilize that fund for?
So first one is scaling up the product. We are like right now we're doing 1,000 units inventory. We want to go to 10,000 kind of thing. Then second is we're launching a version 4. So version 4 is something we are very much interested in, and like we are at version 3 right now. Version 4 will have something which will make it mandatory to have at every single shop in India, across India. So we have to do invest in R&D and like multiple integrations and kind of stuff. We will be using the amount for that.
Awesome. But in that case, see, you spoke about funding on, a lot of them being interested and they're entering in the VC round as well, and seed round is going on. So for that, my question is, how do you look funding as, because there's always a concept like you need to be bootstrapped, and at times they say about, okay, funding is good. What's your opinion on that?
So I don't have any opinion. Like my thing is like I do whatever is required to get things done. Okay. Funding as a hardware company, in we can't make things without R&D. We can't be make without capex. We are not coming from a rich family or something like that. Okay, we don't have that much investment to start with. Okay, so in hardware it requires a lot of upfront investment. So that let's say the 50 lakh rupees that we got, we invested in like making molds, doing the proper R&D, getting the inventory, and then we are selling it now. We're selling the product now, and we're getting like good margin on each unit. So uh, I think funding is a leverage. You can use it if you want. If you don't want, you can still work without it. So we at right now at this point in time, we are not dependent on funding. Funding is like a good to have thing for us. We can survive without the funds.
So the
So that's the
leveraging concept is where you are buying on for the funding.
yeah, definitely. So the point is like uh, I again I don't want to say it's my opinion or something like that, but I feel funding is a good thing to have because you are answerable to somebody. You uh, you learn a lot of things, okay, by like having funded running a funded startup. It's not like easy. Nobody will give you money to do something until unless you convince
They
them, you
believe in
prove
you
them.
and your idea.
Yeah. So it's very like the process itself is very hard and it teaches you a lot of things. So it like it's a very pressure driven and like the negotiation, everything, like you can't get it without running a bootstrap, because in bootstrap you're like, yeah, we have run bootstrap, by the way, like the previous buy by
The
sell era, which
initial
was
scale.
bootstrap. Yeah. So we were like, we are making money, but the push you won't get. In funding, like we got the money in July 2022. Okay, we launched the product in September 2022. We delivered in December. It's a hardware product. Okay. So you can see like how fast we can move. Without funds, you can't do that.
So that's a leverage with which you're capitalizing. Great. In fact, you were telling in between about investors. We are being accountable. So there is also a segment where they believe that if investors are on board, the big challenge is they'll make sure that we are too much accountable for them. We don't have a liberty to address it. How is your thing going on, and what's your take on that?
So it depends on how who your investor is, first thing, and how you structure it. So for me, I have this monthly update going on for last 30 months. So every single month we will send an update on the last day of month at 12 a.m., which will tell you like how much revenue that we made, how much expenses that we made, what is the key thing that we did in the last month, and what are the things that you're going to do next month. Okay. We consistently do it like over the 30 months, and we like investors liked it. Okay. Second thing is we are lucky to have good investors. So right now, the investors that we have, they trust us. They trust us enough to not like say anything related to like they don't get involved too much in the business side of things. They
In the
just guide us.
operational level?
Yeah, they're just like, Praveen, if you need anything, just let me know. And whenever I let them know, I get things done. Okay, so like, for example, T Hub, I wanted to launch their product, and they gave us the venue for it, the complete venue. Okay, so they made the connect to Jayas Ranjan sir, who is like electronic secretary of Telangana, who came for the launch event. We would not have been able to pull off without their contact. So not just them, like or in angel investors are like they're super helpful. So if I want something, I just ping them like, hi, I want this connect. They will make it. Okay. So we had this issue with customs. I pinged my angel investor, and he was like, he helped us with the custom things. So uh, right now we are super lucky to have very good set of investors. But again, coming back to your point, like losing control is a part of the game. Okay, you have to understand which game you are playing. So let's say you are running a funded startup, you are playing that game. So you have to prepare for it and like do things in certain way. You can't like avoid it.
Very true. Awesome. Getting such investors are also equally good. One is about the leveraging, which you told it was pretty good. And second, with respect to the way investors also have to be chosen, because in the spree of getting funds, a lot of them commit with the wrong commitments and wrong notion, and they choose a wrong investor, and they end up cribbing about it and closing down the setup as well. So good that you chose it. But in between, now that you have entered the segment of scaling up your venture as well, there is a challenge which I always look from manufacturing segment, because we'll be over dependent on the vendors and the third parties. So how is that you look like on that? Because do we really feel that that itself is a bottleneck in the industry for you to scale up? Or do you believe that, okay, the India is sufficiently considered for itself to be a manufacturing hub?
No, manufacturing is hard, no question about it. It's not like software. Okay. uh, but it's not an unsolvable problem. You can solve it, and there are ways to do it. For example, the way we do it, basically we have a very diversified supply chain. We have vendors that have the capability. We do QC on the vendors. Basically, before giving an order to a vendor, we check whether they can supply with the particular quality. Or like these are basic things, but we do it correctly, and we have good vendors, so they support us whenever we want something, and they do it very fast. So let's say we want to change anything in mold, I can just ping them. They within 7 days, our mold will be changed. So this kind of communication with them and having a relationship with the vendors helped us a lot. Second thing is, yes, like in manufacturing, you do depend on vendor, but it's a good. If the vendor is good, it's a good thing. Okay, you can't say
Sure.
like it's a bad thing. And it's a business. Like every business has their complexity, and so
Precisely. So see, now that you told you came from tier three segment or a village and you grew up to an extent, this question is very important for me. A lot of them who come from village, taluks, and districts, they always crib stating that, look, I didn't have that facility, or I don't have that accessibility, and I'll not be able to scale. What's your message to such people who come from a mediocre background or come from a village or a small town? Do they still be able to make it up?
so Look, I do empathize with people who come from a small town and they are saying what they're saying is correct. Okay. The point is, as an entrepreneur, you are not getting paid to cry. Okay. You are paid to get things done. So your thing should be like, how can I get it done? Okay. And nobody is going to give you money if you're like always saying ki, like investors are bad and investors are like that, evil and everything. And they're not putting money in without IIT, IM tax. If you keep saying that, nobody will invest in you, because uh, positivity brings like other people who are more positive towards like supportive and everything. Okay, so you just focus on the thing that you're doing and like get like just become super good at it. Okay, then people will do like they will put the money in you and everything. Okay, so I totally feel it's totally doable. I don't feel in particularly in current like startup ecosystem in India, it's very supportive. Okay, no matter where you come from, no matter who you are. Okay, if you are in this ecosystem, everyone knows everyone. I know people from Khata Book. I know people from my the cash competitor companies. I know everyone. Okay, I've talked to them and they are helpful. Okay, it's not like no everyone is trying to kill each other and everything. It's like once you are in the ecosystem, they are very supportive. They will make sure that you're like uh, you can achieve things. Okay, so you as an individual have to put the effort. Okay, you have to get into that ecosystem. Like from outside it does look like very exclusive club, but it's very very helpful. Like people are like you won't believe it, up to this point all the publicity, all the PR, that all, everything that we have not paid anything for it. Okay, literal zero. Okay, people are just like very interested, huh, we want, and you have to say yes to everything. Okay, like I don't say no to anything. Like, huh, you want to do this, let's do it. People are like, they don't have anything and they will say, I will not tell my idea to other people. Okay, so because they will they will steal it. Okay, they not build anything, they just have an idea. They're not telling other people. If you don't tell other people, how you'll get feedback, how you'll get like uh, do anything. Okay, so for me, it's like I can. My thing is like if you have an idea and you're sorting at a choraha basically intersection of a big road. Okay, nobody will care. They will say you are mad. Okay, so you have to do it. And even so, for example, building a hardware product in India, people are like, why even sometimes we feel that ki, why we are doing this hard work? We can just like make an app and we can make a lot of money. Uh,
True.
you have to take a lot of like risks. Okay, it's not just about the idea, it's about the risk, execution, the team, the processes, like everything. People which they won't, the other side will not see this part. Okay, like the process that you're going to build, the ops, the supply chain, everything. So I don't like, my thing is like
Consider on that. No, in between,
just
Praveen, you were actually conveying about two important things, which I want to highlight that. One, you told that you don't like to say no. So my understanding is, what is the importance of saying no or not saying no? Second, you also spoke about seeking help from others. How important? Because today we have this challenge about why should I ask help from others? How should I ask help from others? So asking help, is it good? Saying no, is it bad?
no. So basically I say no to a lot of things. Okay, but I don't say no to opportunities. Okay, you have to
Great.
clearly understand what is an opportunity and where like for example, uh, let's take this call as an example. This is an opportunity to get to know other people and like there might be something out of it. Okay, uh, but there are a lot of situations where like say, somebody comes with me and comes with an idea like, Praveen, would you work on this idea right now? I will say definitely no, because for me this is the
Got it.
whole commitment right now. Okay, so if it's an opportunity, I will not say no. Okay, if it's an other distraction, I will say no. Clearly, I will say no. And if you talk to people in my circle, I am the most I'm the person who say no for everything. Okay,
Okay.
so that's there. Okay, second thing, asking for help. I feel particularly taking feedback, okay, and asking for help are compulsory for your growth. I would not have been able to do it uh, if I did not ask for feedback from other people and ask for help from them. So for me, feedback is like mandatory thing. Okay, I take feedback from my customers, investors, mentors, my teammates, people that I know in my circle. They're like, uh, anything that I am doing, personal or professional, I will just ping them ki like, hey, what's the feedback? Like even I have my driving score feedback. Like I get 2.5 on driving, like motorcycle. So the- for me, it's like very very important to take feedback and ask for help because uh, the interesting fact is like you can Google you can Google things and find people any resource that you want. But when you ask for people, you get tangential things. Okay, you get tangential ideas. You can like they will literally shift the point of view for you. So you get that perspective from that person. So whenever you're asking for somebody, you're asking for their perspective. And for me, perspectives are the most important part of things. Okay, so you can see things from their point of view. So let's say uh, whenever I'm looking to scale up, okay, and I ask somebody from VC community like, how would you look at the let's say 1,000 units that we are selling? How you think about this scale? He was like, bro, you can make, let's say you can make a business of 300 to 400 crore easily, okay. But what about after that? So this is the point of view of VC, okay. Once I got this point of view, now I'm thinking about how can I scale up after that, okay.
Okay.
So like the perspective point is very important. So if you don't ask for help, you won't get that perspective.
So absolutely. So it's not actually wrong about asking or seeking help. In fact, you should be humbled enough to again ask, seek, and get things done. So I think that's a very fair point. Before I close, one last area of question, in fact, two. One question which I want to ask is, you spoke about tier two and tier three. Could you give two simple tips to them or two simple things which they should do it so that they'll be able to escalate? Because you were conveying a lot about point of view. So what's your point of view and what's your tip for tier two and tier three segments for them to escalate? Because I don't want them to always feel if you come to Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, only then business is there, only then you can scale. I want them to stay there, stay grounded, stay humble. Still, they'll be able to escalate. So what's your tip to them?
I disagree on that part. Particular reason is people are not early adopters in tier two and tier three towns. So if you're building something new, people will not buy it and you will feel discouraged. So you will not build it and like scale up. Okay, that's where Bangalore comes at the top because people here, if you build something, okay, you just go to anyone and they will like my angel investor is literally a person I met while distributing pamphlet. Okay, my first big customer was the customer I met while distributing pamphlet. Okay, he gave us an order of like 2 lakh rupees. So these kind of things will not happen in tier two, tier three. So that's why I feel like Bangalore is a locality for the Indian startup ecosystem. Okay. Uh, as far as the first question goes regarding what they should do, so it's very interesting. You just like read as many books as possible, like learn as many things as possible, do online courses, do a lot of like this community based courses, CBCs, everything, whatever is possible, learn as much as you can. Okay, like read as much as you can. But actionable knowledge, not like anything. Okay, just like be very very careful what you're studying about, like what which segment that you're picking up and everything. So if you target that, like, so for example for me it was like supply chain management and this marketing, like I have a so every year I have this theme of that year. Okay, so let's say last year was this year is scale. Okay, last year was I think restart. Okay, so the point was if I have to restart the company from ground up again, how would I approach it? Okay, this year is scale. How can I scale from like say 1,000 to 100K users? Okay, so uh, based on that theme I will study everything. So like if I have to study about scale, I will do the courses that are related to scale. I will read the book that is related to scale. So right now I'm reading working backwards from Amazon, like how Amazon builds processes and everything. They build processes for the scale. Okay, so everything that I'm going to do is related to scale. So similarly last time was like how you can restart things, how can you pivot, how can you do these things. So um learning is the only solution. You can't stop learning. You have to like keep reading actionable things. Don't read everything. Just like so one of the thing people misinterpret is like they will read anything. Okay, they will like kahani ki kitab, like anything. Okay, storybooks and all. You can't get benefit out of it. So you need to have a target and then read or learn for that particular target. That's a way I
Awesome.
want to.
Precisely. It is really great knowing you, Praveen. In fact, you have a great thought process and you're working for it. And it really made my eyes open for certain areas, which is really, really good enough. Before I close this session, I have one simple question. What's your message to the one who's coming up in the field of entrepreneurship? Is there any message which you want to pass it on?
Just have fun. Like the part of entrepreneur, like the best part about being an entrepreneur is like your ability to create something that is not existing right now in the market. Okay, something like build a purple cow. So this is a book about purple cow. It's like you can read that book, but build something which is very interesting so that people can share about it. Everything, okay? Like just build and build for fun. Don't build for like valuation and kind of stuff. Just like that will be secondary, but the fun part, like it's very, very fun process and everything. But it will be extremely painful. So prepare for it.
Awesome. In fact, the way I got to know about you is again through that interesting part, because it was pretty, excited the moment I saw that video about how ToHands is working, how they're resolving, and how they're solving a problem. It was like no stopping. I was like, okay, I want to meet this guy. I want to understand how did you guys start, why did you guys start, and how is it going ahead. It was pretty interesting. As you rightly said that when you are trying to do interesting things and when you start enjoying, there's no stop to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think there's a great message which we definitely want to take. And for all the viewers and all the investors and all the entrepreneurs who are looking this as a video, I'm sure that this will open up three things. If you're about to start, what to do. If in case you're already into business, then how to scale. And if you're an investor or an entrepreneur who want to get connected with them, I'm sure that we'll be able to pass on his connect. If in case you're interested, maybe you can definitely talk to them and get escalated and collaborated. Thank
Sure.
you. Thanks a lot for this session. I'm sure there's a lot to look forward and all the very best for your future endeavors, Praveen, for your
Thank you
entire
so
team
much.
as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah.
My
Bye.
pleasure. Thank you. Bye bye.